Karen Whitmore's Tuesday morning started with her measuring her neighbor's grass with a ruler, literally. Crouched beside the Hendersons' lawn at 7:23 a.m. in her pristine white Capras and HOA board member polo shirt, she pressed the yellow measuring tape against individual blades, muttering triumphantly as she documented each violation in her leather-bound notebook. 2 3/4 inches, she whispered into her phone's voice recorder. HOA covenant clearly states maximum lawn height of 2 1/2 inches. Violation confirmed. What Karen didn't notice was 8-year-old Tommy Henderson recording her through his bedroom window, live streaming to his surprisingly large TikTok following. "Guys, the crazy HOA lady is measuring our grass again," he whispered into his phone. "This is like the 4th time this month." 20 minutes later, Karen's doorbell rang. She opened it to find Detective Ray Morrison, a tired-looking man in his 50s holding a tablet displaying Tommy's viral video, already at 47,000 views and climbing. "Ma'am, we've received several calls about someone trespassing and harassing neighbors," Detective Morrison said, his voice professionally neutral. "Multiple witnesses report you've been on private property without permission, taking measurements and photographs." Karen's face flushed crimson. "Trespassing? I'm the HOA compliance officer. I have every right to ensure covenant adherence." She jabbed her finger at the detective's chest. "These people are destroying property values with their negligence." "Actually, ma'am, HOA authority doesn't override trespassing laws. You need permission to enter private property, even for inspections." Karen's voice rose to a shriek. "This is harassment. You're clearly in cahoots with these covenant violators." She whipped out her phone, fingers trembling with rage. "I'm calling 911 to report police misconduct and neighborhood conspiracy." Detective Morrison raised an eyebrow as Karen frantically dialed, her voice becoming increasingly hysterical as she demanded backup officers to arrest him for failure to enforce community standards and enabling property value terrorism. The dispatcher's confused voice crackled through the speaker. "Ma'am, you're reporting an officer for not arresting people for grass height." "Yes, and he's clearly corrupt. Send backup immediately." Karen screamed, waving her measuring tape like a weapon. Detective Morrison spoke quietly into his radio. "Dispatch, I'm going to need a second unit. We've got a situation developing here." As sirens wailed in the distance, Karen smiled smutly, convinced reinforcements were coming to vindicate her crusade. She had no idea the backup was for her. The detective watched her carefully, noting the manic gleam in her eyes and the way she clutched at HOA Bender like a shield. Something had clearly pushed Karen Whitmore past the breaking point, and he suspected this morning's confrontation was just the beginning. 3 police cars arrived within minutes, and Karen's triumphant smile faltered as officers approached her, not Detective Morrison. Her neighbor Jake Martinez emerged from his house, still in his paramedic uniform from his night shift, holding a thick manila folder. "Officers, I've been documenting Mrs. Whitmore's escalating behavior for months," Jake said, his voice steady despite obvious exhaustion. "Harassment, property damage, intimidation of my elderly mother when she visits." Karen's eyes blazed. "Property damage? Your fence is 6 inches over the property line. Your mother parks her car blocking my view of the mailbox. These are serious covenant violations." "Ma'am, we need you to calm down," Officer Chen said, but Karen was beyond reason. "Don't tell me to calm down. I am maintaining community standards while you people enable chaos." She thrust her notebook toward the officers. "Look at this evidence. Unauthorized garden gnomes. Christmas lights still up in January. Cars parked 17 minutes past the 2-hour visitor limit." Jake opened his folder, revealing dozens of photographs and documents. "She's been leaving threatening notes, photographing our home at all hours, and yesterday she actually entered our backyard and removed my daughter's chalk art from our patio because it was visual pollution." Karen's face went white. That was maintaining aesthetic standards. "You trespassed and destroyed a child's artwork," Detective Morrison said quietly. "We also have reports of you attempting to tow vehicles from legal parking spaces, impersonating city officials, and filing false police reports." The weight of her actions seemed to hit Karen all at once. Her hands shook as she clutched her HOA binder tighter. I was protecting our property values. Someone has to maintain standards. If not me, then who? Mrs. Whitmore, Officer Chen said gently. When was the last time you slept? Really slept? Karen blinked rapidly, her manic energy suddenly wavering. The truth was, she couldn't remember. Every night for months, she patrolled the neighborhood with a flashlight, documenting violations, planning enforcement strategies, composing increasingly frantic emails to the city council. The neighborhood, it's falling apart, she whispered, her voice cracking. Property values are plummeting. Standards are disappearing. I'm the only one who cares. Jake's expression softened slightly. Karen, property values in our neighborhood have actually increased 12% this year. The violations you're reporting, most of them aren't even violations. Karen stared at him, her carefully constructed reality beginning to crumble. She pulled out her phone again, dialing 911 with trembling fingers. I need to report a conspiracy, she said desperately into the phone. Multiple people are lying about HOA regulations to cover up their violations. Detective Morrison gently took the phone from her hands. Mrs. Whitmore, you're under arrest for harassment, trespassing, and filing false reports. As the handcuffs clicked around her wrists, Karen's legs gave out. Officer Chen caught her, and for the first time in months, Karen Whitmore was quiet. But as they helped her into the patrol car, she looked back at her house, her perfectly manicured lawn, her spotless driveway, her pristine HOA compliance certificate displayed prominently in the window, and whispered something that made Detective Morrison pause. Someone moved my garden gnome. It's 3 inches to the left. Someone's been in my yard.